absolutely say that that is a great philosophy for anything in life. Don't play with randos. This is We Have Concerns. Hi, Jeff Canada.
Hi, Anthony Carboni.
Hello, concerned citizens.
Anthony.
Jeff.
It's time for us once again, as we sometimes do, to solve a mystery.
Hot damn. I love sleuthing. And
I know
you know what?
do.
Here's the other thing.
I love it too.
I'm great at it.
Oh, yeah. We are
Buddy,
the best.
Let me tell you something. Just a couple of 40-year-old boy detectives.
That's us. That's us. Well, allow me to introduce you to the mystery of the floating feet. This was a story submitted on our Discord.
Submitted for the approval of the Midnight Society.
That's right. By none other than Chekhov's Schrodinger's cat, which is top 10 name in the Discord, I think. For sure.
Yeah. S-rank name.
Yeah. This is an article from National Geographic that is actually an excerpt from a book called Gory Details: Adventures from the Dark Side of Science by Erica Engelhaupt.
Hey, Erica Engelhaupt, you got me.
So the mystery of the floating feet. So I'll set it up for you.
Please do.
August 20th, 2007.
Mm-hmm.
This little 12-year-old girl in British Columbia, she's walking around on the beach of Jedediah Island in British Columbia. And she looks down and she sees a shoe, a blue and white running shoe, men's size 12.
Are you sure this isn't the opening of Jurassic Park? Are you sure you're not reading Jurassic Park?
Oh, did I click on my numerous Jurassic Park tabs that I have open?
I have the ebook of Jurassic Park open to my favorite bits.
Summary of the Jurassic Park films 1 through 5.
No, the book opens that way. The book opens with like a little girl finding like a foot or a hand or something, doesn't it?
I don't know. Maybe I never read the book.
Fucking read a book, my guy.
I should really read the book. All right, so she finds this men's size 12 blue and white shoe. Looks inside, finds a sock. Looks in the sock. There's a foot.
Finds a smaller shoe. Okay.
It's a nesting series of shoes.
It's a Russian nesting shoe.
6 days later.
A foot.
6 days later, Anthony, Gabriola Island. Mm-hmm. A Vancouver couple hiking on the seaside. They come across a black and white Reebok. Also men's size 12.
No. Another
foot inside the shoe. But the crazy thing is,
no socks.
One was no socks. That's the craziest thing. You already solved the mystery, Anthony.
You're gonna get athlete's foot, my guy. Wear socks. If you don't like the look of socks, wear no shows. Okay.
Yeah. Don't use those Reeboks, buddy.
I solved the mystery. This is a guy who got such terrible athlete's foot that he lopped him off.
No, so the crazy thing here is black and white Reebok, blue and white running shoe, although they didn't specify the brand. You can fill in your own brand. Mm-hmm. Both size 12 men, both Anthony, right feet.
Okay.
Different people from different people.
Yeah.
What's the odds? Well, the police, the Royal Canadian Mounted Police, Gary Cox of the Royal Canadian Mounted Police told the Vancouver Sun, finding one foot is like a million to one odds, but to find two is crazy. And then Gary Cox adds, I've heard of dancers with two left feet, but come on. I mean, bravo, Gary Cox. Bravo, Gary Cox.
Wow.
Of the Royal Canadian Mounted Police.
Are you sure you're not adopted? Are you sure he's not adopted?
Dad?
Were you separated at birth?
So, very strange. Guess what? Over the course of the next 12 years, 15 feet washed ashore in the same area around Vancouver Island. This is a network of waterways called the Salish Sea. Or a Salish Sea? Salish?
Sure.
It's 12 years, 15 feet.
Were they all the same size? Were they all right feet?
No, they were not all the same size.
So two is a coincidence, but like 3 is a pattern. And if they're not all, you know what I mean?
With the exception of one foot wearing an old hiking boot, all of them were in sneakers.
Okay. I mean, most people are in sneakers.
It's true. That's true. That's fair.
You know?
They were not all right feet. They were different feet and they were different sizes, but nearly all in sneakers, severed feet. So what would you say as a 40-year-old boy detective?
As a 40-year-old boy detective. What would I... Oh,
what would boy. What do you think what would be your first guess?
I would say... So it was predominantly sneakers, but not a lot of footwear. I would say an associate at Foot Action who hates browsers.
Just people that waste their time.
Yeah, don't waste my time. I work on commission. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you buy this shoe or you lose your foot is what you're saying.
The only thing that would make me think that wasn't true is if maybe they don't have Foot Action in Canada.
I don't know.
Then I would have to come up with a different hypothesis. No, I mean, I have no idea. I mean, it was 15 over 12 years. So, I mean, is this a serial killer that's like cutting things up?
That was the first thing that everybody thought. Serial killer.
It's the reverse of taking trophies, or it's taking the wrong trophy, right?
It is
because you're like
very large trophies.
You're gonna cut the foot off and then decide to keep the rest of it, but leave the foot.
Very large trophy.
Serial killer in a bunny suit.
Getting revenge for the rabbit's feet.
Getting revenge for all the rabbit's feet. This is clear.
It's the Easter bunny murderer.
Is there a mall Easter bunny that also works at the Foot Action?
This is why you're the best 40-year-old boy detective, Anthony, because that is exactly what it was.
Jeffrey,
it was a disgruntled...
The impossible. You are left with the improbable, and the improbable must be true. This is simply Occam's razor, Jeffrey.
I forgot to tell you that all of the shoes were discovered inside plastic novelty eggs.
Fuck. I solved another one. How do I even do it?
You're so good at this. It's incredible.
You know what? If I wasn't such a loose cannon, if I hadn't gotten kicked out of police academy, and also if the police weren't actually an impressive totalitarian capitalistic regime that's here to violently enforce the status quo and not actually serve and protect, I would have made a great detective.
Yeah, but except for those other things?
Except for those other things.
Well, I wish you hadn't, while you were in the police academy, I wish you hadn't have done all those pranks, befriended that guy who could make all those crazy sound effects with his face and that other real large one.
Listen, we're a ragtag bunch of misfits, but I think you'll find that even though I'm a womanizer who only joined the force just for some free room and board because I'm unemployed, I think you'll find that I really care about people, and inside I have the heart of a leader, and we're all going to come together and really solve this crime that's going on. But
it's going to take like 6 or 7 movies to do it.
We'll solve progressively larger crimes in different places over time. Maybe one will be at the beach, maybe one will be in like communist Russia. I don't know.
What about that angry supervisor of yours though, who's always on your case?
Oh, the shenanigans. You know what I mean? It's going to be mostly shenanigans.
Yeah. Anyway, so it turns out it wasn't actually a bunny killer.
Was it a serial killer, though?
Well, so there was a Wikipedia page was launched. People were guessing it might be serial killer. It might be People were suggesting it might be containers full of migrants that were sitting at the bottom of the ocean and their feet had been cut off as sort of a punishment. All kinds of crazy theories. So forensics anthropologists started taking up this case and trying to figure out what was going on. So the first thing they did was they started doing some research into what happens to a cadaver, right? What happens to a cadaver? Why would we see this in the first place?
There was a great Sesame Street episode where they did that. It was it was just a montage with music.
For cadaver?
It was just a montage with music. And they did one that shows how a dry cleaner works, and they went back and they showed and then they showed like what happens to a cadaver. And it was really fascinating.
Yeah.
I remember. Yeah, it was a very memorable epised. I want to say Jack Black was on it.
they had to kill Snuffleupagus, but it was worth it.
Can you imagine? You remember those? Can you imagine that, like a workplace, like one of those Sesame Street workplace montages, but like for really dark jobs?
Forensic anthropologist. My dad's a forensic anthropologist. Every day he goes to work and finds a cadaver floating in the river. Then we have to figure out how it got there. So I know what you're thinking. It's not a rabbit.
So what does happen to a cadaver, Jeff?
Well, it turns out more often than not, they sink. The first thing we have to figure out is whether a cadaver sinks or swims. And usually if someone dies from drowning, water fills their lungs, they're no longer buoyant, and they sink. Okay. Then the next step was, okay, so how exactly does a cadaver decompose in this part of the world? And so these scientists it's evidently not allowed to use actual cadavers for this kind of study. So they used pig carcasses and they tossed them in the river, or excuse me, the ocean. Tossed them in the ocean.
Did they put little pig sneakers on them?
They had to craft pig sneakers.
Yeah, they put little, like, you know how sometimes you'll see somebody walking their dog and it's just a little guy, and then you look and it's got the little booties on it.
Yeah.
Like, because if they were all found with shoes on, I would think that if I was going to be a responsible forensic anthropologist, what I would do is I would make little pig sneakers.
You know what they call them when they're pig sneakers?
Lay it on me.
Squeakers.
Okay.
Because they squeak. Because a pig squeaks.
Yeah. All right. All right.
Yeah. I
think of them more as like oinking or snorting, but I'll give you like a half credit on that one.
I'll take the half credit. I always take the half credit. So they dropped them in the ocean, and the thing that they saw was that these pig carcasses do not last long. They are eaten by scavengers of the ocean, shrimp, lobsters, Dungeness crab. They are consumed very quickly. The expected areas, they said, are eaten first: the anus region, the facial orifices.
Listen, we're not here to yuck anybody's yum.
No, go for it, Dungeness crab.
You do whatever you're into and whatever makes your partner happy.
Yeah. Yeah. So dead pig goes in water, sinks 308 feet to the sea floor. These scavengers eat the juiciest bits, the softest bits, and that happens pretty fast.
Jeff.
Yeah.
Jeff, my boy detective brain is racing.
I bet it would. I thought it might.
Is the foot too bony?
Exactly.
The foot's too bony to be. Nobody wants to eat a foot. It's gross.
Yes. So it says, unlike the ball and socket joints that join our legs to our hips, our ankles are made up of mostly soft things, ligaments, and other connective tissue. So they eat around the soft ankle joints and dislodge the feet.
Now, why are we not finding hands? You would think hands would be similar.
Well, it's because of the sneakers. The sneakers, once they've been disconnected from the body, the sneakers, they said any sneaker that's been made since the 1980s is basically full of air. They have like containers of air to cushion your sole. And so they go back up to the surface. Because they're no longer weighed down by the rest of the body, the rest of the corpse, they float to the top.
The ocean wants us all dead. Oh, I love this. I love that the ocean wants us all dead. This is, oh gosh, this is wonderful. Oh
now
my
it gets
goodness.
even cooler. It gets even cooler because then the next step was, why this place? And why don't we find shoes everywhere? So the Salish Sea or Salish Sea, I guess I should have looked up how it's pronounced.
That is where we do find the serial killer who's dumping entire bodies, not planning on taking a trophy, not planning on leaving any evidence.
Trophy's delivered to him.
Yeah. But unfortunately, just feet keep popping up and ruining his perfect plan.
Yeah. Should have taken the shoes off of him first. So what happens is this guy, Parker McCready, who's a professor of oceanography at the University of Washington at Seattle, he built a 3-dimensional computer simulation of the entire Pacific Northwest coastal region. Why? Because he wanted to map how oil spills permeate, how they move on the currents.
Okay.
So he creates this thing called Live Ocean, and it's a very accurate recreation of currents and tides and the coastline all up and down Puget Sound in this area.
I've actually heard of this. I don't know why I've heard of this, but I have. Yeah.
I mean, maybe in the context of oil spills, because that's what it was designed for.
Yeah.
But these forensics anthropologists get a hold of this thing. They get on the computer and they go beep, boop, bop, beep, boop, boop, boop. Put carcass in there instead of oil. And it turns out that this Salish Sea area is like the perfectly designed foot capturing geographic location. It is prime location to just suck up floating shoe feet and hold them there.
This is beautiful.
Isn't that wild?
What is it about this area that makes it so perfect? Is it some sort of whirlwind current? Some sort of it's taking things from all up and down the Puget Sound, and they all just sort of, because of the current, get carried to this one area. Anything buoyant?
It says, this area is an unusually large and complex body of inland water, which acts as a trap, and then the prevailing winds are westerlies, so they bring stuff in from the ocean rather than pushing it out to the sea. And then the fact that this area, this is kind of morbid. I mean, this whole thing is morbid, so I guess I don't even need to say that. This area of the coast, people hiking it are predominantly wearing sneakers and not like summer wear, not like flip flops or summer wear that warmer climates would allow for. So you have a bunch of people who slip off the rocks, fall to their death, and this weird natural occurrence washes their sneakers back up to sea. So what they did was, Anthony,
does our guy, what is his name, Cox? Constable,
the Mountie. I don't think he's involved at this
Mountie
point.
Cox or whatever it is. Do they go back and then they go, all right, well, let's look at like missing persons reports of hikers?
Exactly what they did. It's exactly what they did.
The boy detective strikes again.
Yes. So they compared DNA from these feet to
and
the
it
database.
Turns out they're all
100%
that bitch.
They compared to a database of more than 500 missing people in British Columbia, plus Canada's new National Missing Persons DNA program, which they launched in 2018.
Wow.
And using the DNA, the team linked 9 of the feet to 7 missing people. So 2 of them, both feet were found, but most had been missing for over a year.
This rules so hard.
Yeah. And it turns out there's only one of these cases that they think was a suicide. All of the others, accidents. Not a single murder in the lot. Not a single homicide is suspected for any of these feet.
I don't know. I don't know. My boy detective sense is telling me that can't be that simple.
It's pretty amazing. They said they said the case of one young man whose foot was found in Puget Sound in 2019. They couldn't rule out homicide or suicide, so they don't know for sure that it wasn't a suicide or a homicide. But every single other one, they are confident was not a homicide. That it's just a missing person who fell to their death. Just slipped or had an accident and was hiking by themselves or something.
They gave
and their
up
feet
too
washed
soon.
up.
They gave up too soon. They're saying it's a cold case, but it's not a cold case, Jeff.
You got to take this up. I think you found your calling, Anthony.
I'm telling you.
You got to do it.
I'm telling you. Those rocks aren't that slippery. You know what I mean?
Move north.
I got to do it. It's outside of my jurisdiction, but maybe I can just like Eddie Murphy it, where I show up anyway on vacation, you know, and I just insinuate myself into the case. You know,
it's like a Doc Hollywood situation where you're on your way somewhere else.
Mm-hmm.
Your car breaks down.
Yes.
Up there in the Salish Sea.
I could psych this, is what we're saying.
Yeah. Oh, psych the shit out of it.
I could psych the shit out of this. I could run for 8 seasons on this.
Yeah.
I could get that syndication money off of this.
So you're thinking that this is a series of homicides that committed by someone so fiendishly clever that they utilized all of knowing the science would eventually clear them of the crime. They did this specifically in this area because it would have happened naturally anyway.
Oh, Jeff, they don't have to think that the science is going to clear them of the crime. They simply have to know that this is a place where hikers have fallen to their death before. I'm not saying these are all homicides, but I'm saying we need to look into the ones that obviously are, which I'm going to say are 5 of them. Just doing the math.
Just a law of averages.
Just law of averages. 5 of those people, foul play.
Pushed,
shoved. Given faulty shoes the same way people are given faulty brakes in their car, like given a weak shoelace or a bad.
Why were these people or hiking in tap shoes?
A bad cleat. You know what? Like there's what you do is you take a pair of garden shears and you cut one of the grippy cleats on the pattern on the bottom of the shoe.
And the equivalent of cutting the brakes on a car.
That's what it is, Jeff. I've seen it. Let me tell you something. In all my days of amateur detective work, I've seen it 1,000 times. This is why I say, you know, I've the case of the indoor bouldering expert. You remember the case of the indoor bouldering expert?
Of course. How could they have fallen? They were it was indoor bouldering.
And it was indoor bouldering. I'll tell you how. Sliced cleat.
Faulty cleat.
Faulty cleat.
I'll do it every time.
Let me tell you something, Jeff. You've been on this beat long enough.
You see everything?
You see it all, buddy.
Yeah.
You see it all. And sometimes I got to drink myself to sleep and I'm emotionally walled off. But I'll tell you what, I'm a damn good amateur detective. Maybe the best.
People don't expect that level of experience from a wee boy detective like you.
No, not just a wee boy of 40 years old.
They don't expect that kind of experience, you know?
No. They say this Wunderkind, this boy genius. He's like Encyclopedia Brown, but with so much debt.
Yeah. So much debt.
He's like Encyclopedia Brown, but with debt and a divorce under his belt. But otherwise, it's exactly, and he doesn't play the drums.
But other than that, almost exactly the same.
Almost exactly the same. And I'm telling you, 5 of these are murders. And that Mountie gave up too soon. And it's because the Canadians are too polite. They're too polite to investigate murder.
You know what occurs to me?
What?
Encyclopedia Brown is such an old reference that there's no such thing as encyclopedias anymore.
Yeah, no.
That's how old a reference Encyclopedia Brown is.
Old Internet Brown, they call him.
Wikipedia Brown.
Wikipedia Brown. He just looks it up on his phone and the mystery's solved.
Oh man.
This is such a good story. What is the name of that book? What is the name of that book again? I want to get this book.
It is called Gory Details: Adventures from the Dark Side of Science by Erica Engelhaupt.
Erica Engelhaupt. Yeah. Bless you. Bless you for this book.
Good stuff, right?
Yeah, that's very good. That is very good. I definitely want to check that out. Thank you to
Chekhov's Schrodinger's cat.
Chekhov's Schrodinger's cat for sending that in. If you've seen a story recently that you'd like us to cover, you can of course leave it on the Discord. You can email it to us. We have concernshow@gmail.com. There is a subreddit. There's a Facebook group, but just leave it. Leave Facebook.
Yeah.
Leave Facebook. Discord's where we're all at right now. And if you want to join the Discord, all you got to do is give us money. But it's not a lot.
Not a lot.
It's not
even a lot.
It's not a lot.
$1.
It's
$1
$1
a month. You lose that much every month.
Look,
you know,
you head to patreon.com/wehaveconcerns. You pledge $1 a month, and you get access to the Discord where we've got like 1,000 members of this Discord hanging out, chatting. It's great.
It's incredible.
Somebody set up a Valheim server, Jeff, for us.
Ooh, I got that Valheim.
I've yet to dip into the Valheim. I think I might do it. But yeah, people are playing games. They're hanging out. They're talking about science. And hey, if you decide to give a little more, you get a little more as well. You get bonus episodes, early episodes, audio and video that you can't get anywhere else. And all you have to do is head to patreon.com/wehaveconcerns.
We gotta raise enough money to send Wikipedia Carboni up to the Puget Sound to solve some mysteries.
I need enough for a new disguise kit. My junior detective disguise kit. All the spirit gum has come off of my fake mustaches.
Oh, you don't want that.
Yeah.
You don't ever want to have a peeling mustache
no,
when you're
God, no.
trying to investigate a case.
That's the first thing that'll give you away. Okay, Jeff, we're doing it again. 1 or 2?
Oh, I'm going to go 2 this time.
2. You got it. I want to talk about, we love animal intelligence here. We love trying to figure out what's that bird know?
What is he thinking?
What does that bird know? That bird's looking at me. What does that bird know? You know what I mean? That's what I'm thinking all the time.
He knows stuff. What does he know?
My dog is sitting on the couch and is looking at me. Is it looking at me with like love in its eyes? Is it looking at me simply because I'm the giver of the food, or like does my dog disapprove of my lifestyle? How much do animals know?
Yeah.
And this is an amazing study. I really love this. I saw this on cell.com. And this is about parrots. Parrots, pretty smart birds, we can agree.
I mean, they hung out with pirates for a long time. It can't be that smart, right?
Buddy.
Pirates not known for their high intelligence.
Pirates don't have to be smart. Just the bird has to be smart. The bird's pretty smart to hang out with a pirate that's going to let it hang out on his shoulder, give it food all day. Also,
I guess that's true.
Maybe the bird always wanted to go and be on the ocean. Bird can't build boat. Bird's smart enough to know that guy got boat.
Got to team up with boat guy.
Yeah, that's a symbiotic relationship. Birds is smart. I mean, we've talked a lot about the intelligence of birds, but we were particularly corvids. We love to hear a story about a crow, a blackbird, a raven.
So smart.
Picking up
shrewd. I'd go so far as to say shrewd is a crow.
Sure. Picking a lock sometimes.
Yeah. Using tools.
Sending pizzas to their enemies' houses. COD.
Oh, yeah. Classic doorbell ditch is a crow.
We had crows outside of our old place, and we fed them once, and they hung out forever. They were like, "Hey, what's up?" And sometimes they would like drop stuff. They would check to see like what stuff, if they dropped it, we would give them food that day.
Wow.
So they're like, "Here's the thing we found. Is this what we trade you for food? Here's the thing we found. Is this what we trade you for food? We'll just hang out. We're gonna come back every day. You let us know."
That's amazing.
You let us know.
But you know what else a crow will do, Anthony?
What's that?
A crow will set an example and then wait for like 20 years for Jared Leto to steal it in another movie. Mm-hmm. That's what a crow will do.
That's what a crow will do. That's what a crow will do. So this is a study particularly about parrots. 2 types of parrots, African gray parrots and blue-headed macaws. And what this research team wanted to do was figure out, hey,
which one's which?
How can we tell the difference between these birds? I have bird face blindness.
I mean, one has gray in the name and the other has blue in the name, but Neither of these birds is gray or blue.
These birds discuss. So what I really love is they decided we want to see if birds can show selflessness. Do birds care about
like charity work?
Yeah, do birds care about other birds?
Okay.
Like
I'm gonna guess no. Bird can tell you to fuck off.
And they can tell you in human language. That's the beautiful thing about parrots. They can just be like, fuck you.
Polly wants a cracker. You can fuck yourself.
Because here's the thing, like helping others to obtain benefits, even if it costs you something, is an interesting evolutionary puzzle, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's one of the things we often say that human beings are pretty selfish, but we sort of got to where we got because we are maybe the most cooperative species or one of the most cooperative species on the planet.
It's a socialization layer, right? It's organizing socialized groups and realizing that the well-being of the many helps you personally.
Right. And we see this in animals when it comes to their own young or members of in certain animals, packs or herds sometimes. But those are beneficial relationships, right? If we're all part of a herd on the Serengeti and we're all looking, lion can't get us all. Right. So there's we're a bunch of birds and we're flocked together because if one of us finds food in the park, then we can all swoop down and we'll all see that there's food in the park. There are reasons, I'm giving food to my young because I want my young to survive because they're mine.
Mm-hmm. So
pro-social helping just for the sake of helping. You see somebody standing at the air machine at the gas station going like this, and you have a quarter. Here you go, buddy. Yeah. You know what I mean? You don't get anything out of that, right?
Right.
We've seen it in mammals a lot, but not in avian species. There's no selfless acts that we have seen in avian species.
Because they're assholes.
They're fucking pranksters.
Yeah. And nothing selfless about that.
All they care about is the laugh and the views.
They just care about those sweet likes.
That's all they want. It's the with these birds, it's just the algorithm. And they do their prank videos and they call them social experiments.
Yeah.
And, half the time they're scripted. But they're scripted in
the worst part.
They're scripted in such a way that it makes, all these other species look dumb.
Including humans.
And I'm tired of the bird pranks and I'm tired of these pranksters. So they wanted selfish. I would call birds selfish. I would also call birds horrible. I would call them dirty. I would call them sneaky. They're the gymnasts of the animal kingdom.
Oh, the worst.
The worst
They
people.
are the gymnasts. The way that they glide through the air effortlessly with grace and elegance.
Oh, I can fly in a way that you've only dreamed, and it's beautiful, and seeing it actually makes your heart lighter. Oh, yeah. I'm a perfect.
It's aspirational to see me catch the wind with my beautiful feathers and soar high, and you feel bad about yourself because you can't do it.
Oh, my body represents human perfection, and just seeing my gracefulness brings a tear to your eye. I'm a gymnast.
Might as well be a bird.
So they decided to take two species of parrot and they were like, let's see if we can get parrots to help each other out. Now, these are two parrots that don't know each other. And what they did is they would get a third parrot that's a magician and they'd be like, we've never met before, right? You two don't know each other. Smart. This is our first time we've seen.
That's the only way to know, for sure. Yeah,
smart. So they would grab two parrots that don't know each other of these two different species, African gray parrots and blue-headed macaws. And what they would do is they started giving them tokens that they could trade for food. And they would give them a certain amount of tokens every day. They would give them like 10 tokens. Okay. And it's like, you can trade these tokens for food over a period of a few days. And the birds learned that these are intelligent species. Parrots are pretty smart. And they learned that they can trade token for food.
The problem is though, it's like never a divisible number. You know, they give them like 10 tokens and food costs 7.
Yeah.
You know, and they're like, what are you going to do with these extra 3 tokens?
It's like Microsoft points. They give you a certain amount of tokens and then they're like, well, I can buy this game and then I have like 200 points left. And I guess I got to sit there with those 200 points. And now I've got to like, I guess I got to buy something or I waste it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the birds got mad about that because birds is smart. And the scientists were like, eat shit. This is what you get.
Yeah.
You horrible, horrible pranksters. Now we have one over on you. So no, what they did is they had these parrots living on their own, trading tokens for food. And then they put 2 parrots in a room together. And one parrot has 10 tokens. And one parrot has no tokens at all.
Ooh.
These parrots don't know each other. They're not from the same flock. They are not from the same family. They are not. Neither one of them is in like mating season, and they used 2 parrots of the same sex to minimize,
right?
You know, incentive. And you know what they found, Jeff?
That parrot give that other parrot some tokens.
The African gray parrots will absolutely hand another parrot a token if it's hungry.
Wait a minute, the blue-headed one won't?
Oh, no. The blue-headed macaws are fucks. No, here's the real thesis statement of this fucking essay, Jeff. You know, they have their highlight, they have their summary, they have their abstract, but like right here in 20-point bold type on Current Biology in cell.com, it says, blue-headed macaws are absolute fucks. Will
Science.
not help.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
A parrot wants all the tokens. And then the other parrot's like, here, you can have some. You can have some of my tokens. So how did this work exactly? Did the gray-headed African, whatever it was called, does it picks up a token, walks it over to the other one and just drops it off? Is that the idea?
Yeah, just gives it, will hand, they're put in an enclosure with another parrot that they don't know, and they're used to having their tokens and putting them in a place to get food. And one parrot just sees that the other parrot doesn't have tokens.
Wow.
And it's like, oh, are you hungry, bud? Here you go. Even knowing that they're giving from their own supply of limited tokens.
This is something that happens over and over and over again with the species?
This is something that happens over and over again pretty regularly. It doesn't happen all the time. Just like any other species, there are some members that are more dickish than others.
Yeah.
But overall, yeah, they would help the other parrot out.
Wow.
Now, this is the first proof of instrumental helping in a non-mammalian species. And this is a tough thing for an animal to wrap its head around. Because if you think about the instinctive nature of animals in the wild, or even in captivity, there are certain instincts, survival instincts, that they have to work around.
Hoard resources.
Yeah.
You got to hoard resources because you never know when you'll need them. I need to survive more than anybody else because I'm me.
I don't know when the next 10 tokens is being dropped off. And I've gotten used to having a certain amount of tokens over a certain amount of time, so I'm not hungry. If I give you a token, do I go hungry? And the bird has to think about, understand that, overcome that, and say, here you go, man.
And value the well-being of the other bird.
Exactly.
Does this article go into why they picked parrots?
Parrots were picked because they are pretty intelligent. They wanted to start with a bird that should. I mean, if you think about, we know that parrots build strong relationships to their owners. Pirates. Who are sometimes pirates.
Yeah.
Certainly they love a swashbuckler more than they love. If there are 2 kinds of people that parrots love, here's what we know. Pirates. And then like middle-aged Gold Coast women. Those are the only 2 people that I've ever seen with parrots in the house.
It's true. Yeah. It's true. Yeah.
And it's a lot of pretty bird and like going to the bank. Like stuff.
Yeah. Totally.
You always see these videos on Reddit of like people who are like, the bird learned that anytime the landline rings, it's not anybody important, it's bill collectors, and like the phone will ring and the bird will be like, oh Lord, here we go. Oh Lord, who is it now? Oh Lord, here we go. Yeah. Here we go. Oh Lord. But they'll also repeat things like when they need praise or they need affection, they'll say the things that you say to praise them, to tell
Happy
you
birthday to you. Happy birthday to you.
Yeah, to come over. Oh, pretty bird.
Yeah.
Oh.
That's the problem with this, that no one thinks about. The parrot only learns half of what you say. Mm-hmm. I had a girlfriend in college whose roommate had a parrot, and it would only say half of the thing. Mm-hmm. It'd be like, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. And it would never finish the melody. No. So you would just have this blue balls of the mind.
It's obnoxious, in all honesty.
It would do the first half of the Addams Family song. It'd be like, and it would never go, it would only do the first half. And so you would just want to kill yourself.
Just 3 a.m.
Just finish it.
3 a.m. all you're hearing is shave and a haircut over and over again.
Yeah, exactly.
No, birds, I mean, it is like that.
Shave and a haircut. Shave and a haircut. Just say too bad.
Yeah, but they picked them because they're smart, they're teachable, they're friendly to humans. So we know that they can sort of build, they seemed like good candidates to build social relationships. Now, if you're wondering what's up with the blue-headed macaws,
I think you cleared that up. You said they're fucks.
They're fucks. But if you want to get into the why, some people can look at somebody and be like, that guy's an asshole. I don't need that guy in my life. And then some people are like, I need to know why. Mm-hmm. I need to know, why is that guy an asshole? What happened?
So tell me why.
What happened in this dude's life?
Cause?
It's social. They call it social tolerance in a food context. So what it is there's more competition for food within areas where you will find the blue-headed macaw.
Oh, interesting. So they are less inclined to share resources because resources are scarcer and more in demand.
They are more in demand. And so
interesting.
They are less likely to give things up. Whereas the African gray has more plentiful food sources and less dangers in their environment. So
it's great privilege.
You got to recognize your African gray privilege. You absolutely do.
Yeah.
And so I think that's interesting because it shows that if these are two species that are of similar intelligence and have similar capacity for socializing and learning, this becomes a nature versus nurture thing. This becomes totally about the environment. And this means that
that's interesting. Yeah.
More of these species could potentially have the propensity for sharing and for helping.
If there's abundance, right? If there's abundance around them, they'll share. I think that's an interesting lesson we can take away, that it's not about inherent selfishness. It's about perceived necessity.
Mm-hmm. Now,
and if we're,
are they too dumb to be selfish? Right? Because here comes us now.
Oh, interesting.
Because here comes us now. And a lot of us live in a relative amount of plenty. There's a lot to go around, right?
Yeah.
And yet, we're still blue-headed macawing over here and hoarding.
Well, I think that's because that's why I said perceived, right? Because I think it's the perception of needing to. I mean, I think that's kind of what capitalism is, right? Is this injection of a perceived need to acquire more,
right?
It is. It's fed to us all the time. You got to have more. You got to have more. You got to have better. You got to have bigger. And I don't say that as a cop out, because I do think there's some responsibility you have to take about that. It's not just like, oh, my environment tells me I need to acquire, therefore I fuck over everybody else.
Yeah.
But I do think there's an element of that.
I think there is too. And I think there's also something about the one-to-one nature of this experiment. And also it's a practical experiment. It's not conceptual, right? So one-to-one, you'll give the guy ahead of you at the grocery store $1 if he's $1 short. You know what I mean? Oh, are you $1? Here you go, man. I got $1.
Yeah.
$5 a year or $10 a year added to your taxes to go to a group of people that you don't see.
Right.
Then it becomes abstracted. So I wonder if there's something. I wonder if there's something like that to it as well. Is that we're forced to think about sharing in much more abstract ways than animals are.
Yes, I think that's absolutely the case. I mean, we've talked about studies before about, if a charity tells you can save a child by giving them a $5, you go, oh, well, maybe I can do that. If they say there's 10,000 children and we still need that same $5, people are like, that it's just too big of a problem. I can't get involved. Like, that's how our dumb brains work. That it has to be a small enough problem that we think we can actually affect it.
Yeah. I mean, you look at charities for children and for animals, things like I remember in San Francisco, we went to the Monterey Bay Aquarium and we adopted a seal as part of as part of my team at work that was working on the science show. We adopted a seal together, and they're like, yeah, this is your seal and you've adopted it and here's its name and here's its, and we'll send you updates about the seal. And there are 80 other groups that have adopted that seal.
The same seal.
Right?
Yeah.
And it's not false. Your $5, you have adopted that seal. That is your seal. Your $5 goes to that seal. But the other 80 people that are giving $5, because, hey, it turns out it's expensive to feed a seal.
Yeah, $5 ain't going to get it done. Yeah.
But there is this thing where it's made more one-to-one, right?
Yeah, right.
So I think there are two fascinating things about this study. Number one, once again, we find that animals is sweeter little things than we thought, as per usual.
Yeah.
Good Lord. Animals is sweethearts, and they're smart and they care so much, is what we're constantly learning. Except for fucking corvids.
Did we consider that all of this is an elaborate bird prank?
Ooh. Ooh. To what end?
Well, I feel like you could, give me the tokens. Mm-hmm. I'll share the tokens with my friend. And then maybe you give me more tokens, and then later on down the line, we shove the token up your ass. I don't know. I don't know where this prank ends, but at some point the bird's laughing at me.
Look, we're not pranksters.
And I have a token in my ass.
Right. We're not pranksters. We don't know where they're going. We're just saying it's good to have a healthy skepticism. I see what you mean.
Yada, yada, yada. There's a token in my ass. It's just really kind of where I see this headed.
And then you're on YouTube, and then the bird is getting millions of views, and then you look like an idiot.
I'm the idiot somehow. Somehow I'm the idiot,
Now I'm here. I got a token up my ass, and I'm an idiot. How many bird pranks have we seen throughout time that are just about putting a token in someone's ass?
So many.
You ever see a bird outside of an arcade or a subway station? You stay away.
Stay away.
That bird's trying to put a token up your ass.
Exactly. I mean, come on. Which one of us hasn't had that happen?
Who among us can say their ass is token free? No one. We've all fallen for it. There's no reason to feel ashamed.
Yeah.
There's no reason to feel ashamed. No, so I like it because, number one, we found that these animals are a little more selfless and are a little more emotionally intelligent than we thought. And number two, it makes me think about the direct connection of sharing and being generous and how we can sort of figure that out.
And really where that comes from. I like that this kind of points to, anytime we talk about behavior that you can extrapolate into humans, and map onto animals, and you see the factors that cause an animal to behave or not behave that way, you really go, oh yeah, of course, humans are just big dumb animals.
Just big dumb animals. Like if you can put a monkey in a trench coat and have it solve a mystery, do it. You should do it. And then you'll look and you'll be like, of course, I too am a great detective. That's how I got started. And then, and now I'm solving mysteries all over the place. What if you put a mouse on a motorcycle?
Yeah. What if you give a mouse a cookie?
Huh? What if you give a bear toilet paper? Think about these things.
You should. That's what we're here for.
We are an award-winning science comedy podcast.
Raising the important questions no one else dares to ask.
Who would dare? No one. Get wrecked, rest of science.
That monkey detective, by the way, every time, bananas, this whole mystery is bananas.
Yeah.
Every time he says
but we wait for that. You know what I mean? And then when he says it, it's like, woo! Hey, if you want more amazingly intelligent and clever science discourse like this, there are a couple things that you can do. Number one, hey, you're just listening, and that helps. That's wonderful.
Yeah, it does help. Yeah.
If you feel like sharing a link to the show with a friend or on social media, we love that. And if you have it and you can spare it and you're enjoying the show, we would love it if you would come over to the Patreon, patreon.com/wehaveconcerns, as we mentioned earlier. And of course, if you give a little, you get a little in return, including access to the Discord, where I can only imagine for the next week, it's going to be tokens up the ass. That's all I'm going to see.
Yeah, well, it's important to, get the warning out among the people so everybody knows what to look for.
Finally, here we are on the vanguard of safety. Patreon.com/wehaveconcerns.